Hello, Jamie, and thank you for taking time out of your busy video game schedule to attend today's interview.
Of course, happy to be here.
When did you first realise that you wanted to be a writer?
Well, I've always loved telling stories. I did my degree in drama and had to write a play, fell in love with creating narratives.
How long does it take you to write a book?
Well, Clockwork took me around 5 years on and off. However, I did write the bulk of Clockwork during NaNoWriMo, so that's 30 days. But with all the rewrites and the plot hole fillings, it takes a long time.
What's your work schedule like when you're writing?
Well, I try my best to do a little every day. Mostly work for like a few hours a day, but also take time to do the things that I enjoy. I think that's one of the most important things. What would you say is your interesting writing quirk? I like to think my writing is comical in a dry sense, like Douglas Adams or Derek Landy, while maintaining a compelling story arcs for my characters.
How do you get published?
Well, I'm not published yet, but I'm using Kindle Direct Publishing. But the other way to do it is get a literary agent and go through a publishing house.
Where do you get your information or ideas for your book?
Well, the idea for Clockwork came from a song idea that my housemate gave me, and then it just sort of came to me. And in regards to information, I looked through history and developed a history for the world that would fit. But things like the Tempus Lapideum came from a need to flesh out a MacGuffin that I've created for my villain.
When did you write your first book, and how old were you?
I was 22.
What do you like to do when you're not writing?
I like to play Dungeons and Dragons, play video games, read books, mangas, and comics. I think that allowing your imagination to grow and develop is super important, especially when you're a creative. So I spend most of my time with my wonderful partner, my housemates, and my friends.
And what do your family think of your writing?
Unfortunately, both of my parents have passed away, but I know that they would be proud of me, and they would both support me, as the rest of my family have.
What was one of the most surprising things you learned about creating your book?
Honestly, the marketing aspect is hard work when you're doing it by yourself. But don't trust those marketing teams; they'll take you for a ride. Sort of making things yourself and all of that is really important. And it works out a lot cheaper than paying $2,500. You could just make a silly internet video where you interview yourself.
Have you written many books? Which one is your favourite?
Just the one. So I'm going to have to say Clockwork. There really isn't much more to go on. Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions to others for becoming a better writer? And if so, what are they?
Honestly, keep working at it. Set yourself a goal, not a date. Just work towards a goal. So get some feedback and talk about it with anybody who will listen. And don't listen to the fraud police or the imposter syndrome that tell you you're not worth it, because that's not true. And just have fun telling your story.
Do you hear much from your readers?
What kind of things do they say? One of the most important things to have is beta readers, and the reviews I have gotten from them are very positive. So, yeah, good. And yeah, I do listen to my readers.
Do you like creating books for adults? Honestly, I like telling stories for all ages. What do you think makes a good story? Honestly, characters.
When I'm writing, and this is going to sound super pompous, but they're honestly the ones telling the story.
As a child, did you know what you wanted to be when you grew up? When I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet, but then I mostly wanted to be an actor, and I followed that career path for most of my life.
I then realised that it was the telling of stories that I was passionate about, so I became a writer.
Well, thank you, Jamie, for your time today. It has been an honour. Thank you for having me. It has been an absolute pleasure.
So that was my interview with the new author Jamie Langdon about his life and about how he feels about writing. Clockwork is still in its production phase and is in editing, but you can always check out my blog, Clockwork, the blog of the hour, where I post fairly regularly. And also, there'll be some links in the description for my blog and for my Patreon. Have a fantastic day, and I hope you enjoyed my interview.